Hello everyone. What I've got up here on the bench today is yet another recycling bin find. This was destined for the e-waste people, so this would have become scrap if I hadn't saved it, and it's debatable whether or not it was actually worth it, or whether it would have been better off as scrap. But that's not really the point of the video. The point of the video is to show off this thing as it is, because it's actually in really good shape, and it's still pretty damn usable. I'd have to throw an SSD in it for me to be able to use it, but otherwise it's a really capable machine. Looking at the outside, I just smashed on the table, but it's actually, there's not a whole lot of issues with it. There are some scratches. You can see one down here. This is just some dirt. Really not a whole lot to speak of. Some wear there on the lid, on the latch. This side is okay, and I believe this side was okay as well. Yeah, a little bit of wear from where the power gets plugged in, but it's not a bend, it's more of just some worn out finish. The bottom of it, well, it doesn't have a battery, and that's because the battery was fine when I got it, and then I plugged it in, let it charge. It took a little while for it to charge. I'm thinking, okay, it's just an old battery. Took a charge, and I came down here the next day or maybe 2 days later and tried to use it, and I couldn't really click the touchpad or click the mouse there. And then I turned it on, started using it a little more, and then it became harder and harder, and then I couldn't press the space bar, and I knew, yeah, I gotta pull that battery out of there. That's a little dangerous and makes it unusable. One thing I want to talk about is this screen and the hinge. My goodness, it's a great screen. I think I talked about this in the PowerBook G4 17-inch video I made recently, but it's very rare that I come across a laptop, a MacBook, or PowerBook in this body style with a screen that opens so well. It's effortless. You click it, it opens, it has a little wobble to it. Now, I guess that's normal for such a large screen. And it just opens. It's so nice. Not only that about the screen, but as we'll see, it's bright. It's very, very bright. But we'll get into that in just a moment. Overall, on the inside, not a whole lot to speak of. Not much wear. The touchpad is not shiny. Some of the keys are shiny though, the spacebar especially. I don't know if it'll show up on camera. We can kind of see it depending on where the light hits it. It's a little worn out, you know. It's a used laptop that's, 12 years old at this point? 11 years old? It's 2008. So it's what you got to kind of expect from something of this age. I guess we'll go ahead and power it up. So the only things I've done to this so far, other than take out the battery, I'm going to move the tripod up so it may make a noise. The only things I've done are remove the battery and upgrade the RAM. And install a new OS on it, of course, as I do with everything. Let's go ahead and power it on. So the RAM that was in it worked just fine. It was 2 gigs of DDR, I think? DDR2? I don't recall. I ended up upgrading it to 6, and I read somewhere maybe it doesn't actually make a difference. Even though it recognizes 6, it can't address 6. I don't know what the current status of that is, but it shows up as 6, and it functions, so I'm gonna leave it like that, because more is always better, I guess. Right now, this MacBook has been off for probably 2 weeks, and I haven't so much as turned it on or even opened it. Obviously, it's been off, so of course I haven't turned it on. Duh. But the screen is a little more dim than it normally is, and I think I've also lowered the backlight brightness, but it probably just needs to warm up a little bit. What I can assure you of is that this has the brightest screen of any MacBook I've ever used. It doesn't matter the age. It is stupid bright, and it's starting to get bright right now. Let's see, I think I just made the password. Probably. And the screen itself, apart from being bright, is very clear. If I can get a better angle on that, that looks pretty good. It is so clear. It's a glossy-ish screen. It's not like the newer MacBook Pros or maybe the generation after this where it was covered in a piece of not glass but plastic. It's shiny, but it's well done. You don't get distracted by reflections in it the way I did when I had, for example, a 2010 MacBook Pro. This is running macOS El Capitan, and yeah, you can install up to El Capitan natively. It will support, unofficially, with the patcher tool, it'll support Mojave, and I think it'll run Catalina as well. Unfortunately, I really couldn't get it to work, and I have a feeling it had something to do with the 6 gigs of RAM, because that's not officially supported. It is an unsupported model, but using the patcher tool, I should have been able to do it anyway. It doesn't look like I can scroll in on this one. I must not have configured that, so I'll read it out to you in case you can't see it. It's got the 2.5 gigahertz Intel Core 2 Duo. There was only one model that was faster than this in this body style, the unibody body style, and that was one released the exact same year at the same time. It was the 2.6 gigahertz, which sounds only like 100 megahertz because it is, but it was, instead of a T9300, it was a T9500, maybe, something like that. There was a performance gain to be had. It's got 6 gigs of RAM, as I said. Let's take a look at the RAM here. So 2 gig, 4 gig. That's about as close as I can get. Sorry. DDR2 SD RAM, 667 megahertz. I think it's got 512 megs of VRAM on an 8600M GT. And the screen, I think I was trying to say this before and got caught up in something else, some other thought, was this is a 1920 by 1200 screen. And I don't know if this was something that they shipped with everyone. I would assume it would, or at least I hope it would be something they shipped in every 17-inch. This very nice screen, but the screen looks so good. It's so clean. The picture is very crisp, and even though it's only obviously a 60 hertz display, just moving around the mouse looks very nice. It's a screen I really enjoy, and a screen I enjoy looking at. What am I even looking for? SATA, that's what I'm looking for. So it has the original 7200 RPM drive in it right now. It's a 200 gig hard drive. I think you could have configured this up with a 320 gig hard drive, but that's not what they did, so that's not what it has. And yeah, I don't know if there's much more to say about it. This is such a great machine. I pulled it out of the recycling, and it worked right away. All I had to do was reinstall the operating system to, get rid of what was on there, and yeah, this is a very, very nice example of a MacBook Pro 17-inch that has been cared for and still looks great today. So I guess that is it for taking a look at this. It's been about 9.5 minutes, I think, so probably enough commentary on that. It did come with, by the way, a blue case. I don't know who makes it. Oh, I can kind of see right there, it says Spec. They make a lot of cases. So it came with that. I took that off. I didn't really like it, mostly because when I opened the screen, it would only open to a right angle, and that was a little irritating. Did come with a charger. This is not the original charger, but it's the one I grabbed. And yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I think I'm just going to try to sell it, to be quite honest. I don't really need it, and there might be somebody out there who really wants one of these. I don't know. So I'm going to post it up for sale. I already reinstalled the OS, cleaned it up a little bit, and it's upgraded. So maybe it'll be a quick sale. That's what I'm hoping for, even though it doesn't have a battery. Anyway, guys, that is it for this one. This has been a little overview and tour of the 2008 MacBook Pro 17-inch that I pulled out of a recycling bin. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next video.